Good morning, Albert.
Hey, good morning, Dale. How are you doing?
Well, I'm okay. I was starting to wonder if I was the only one, if I was on the wrong channel or something.
If you missed the memo, huh?
Yeah, well, it's my memo. I would think I would know where I am, but
Yeah.
I came in a little bit of a panic anyway. I normally am completely ready for this, but I had my head in a puzzle trying to sort out a localization problem, and it just all of a sudden my alarm rang at 10 o'clock, and here I am.
Oh, yeah. You got you got emerged into an issue, a problem that sometimes happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this reminds me, there was a ticket of, we're going back and forth on something. What was the topic that you're dealing with right now?
I'm working on, I guess, an app where I'm trying to, I guess, pull the information from an action grid into an action form.
Right.
And I think Mark sent me to a video that you had put together that helped me kind of address where I used, I guess you used JavaScript to push one of the records in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in my case, I have like several records. It's basically like someone signs in and it pulls up all their invoices, and then I've got to allow them to choose which ones they want to pay. So they either select one or select all of them.
Yep.
And then it sums it up, and then they pay, through AuthorizeNet. So I'm trying to work out how that I can get that to do that. And then the other thing is that they also want them to be able to allow them just to only pay a portion of their amount due.
Yeah.
So in the grid, I added a form that would check a checkbox to say pay partial amount, and then they would enter in a partial amount in a text box. So I was trying to figure out how to get that information pushed over to the action grid or to the form, but I tried to use what you had done similarly with the JavaScript, but I couldn't. It didn't seem to work with using the ID from that ID within that action form within the grid. So and I'm thinking, I don't know. Thinking maybe there's another way to do this other than to do what I was doing.
Well, yeah, so I think there's several possibilities, but if I understand, if you have a grid of invoices and they're either going to pay the full amount or a partial amount, then the grid at some point is going to have to compute how much, what the total amount is, correct?
Right.
And so is that the amount that ends up going to the form?
Yes, that amount. And then it's just that amount is what they pay. But then I have to, each of the invoices have to be recorded in a separate payment table, what they paid, if it's partial or full. So that's what I need to pull into the action form in order to record that part of it.
Yeah. So I don't know your design, but if I were approaching something like that, I think that I might go with, for example, it sounds like you've got the grid pretty well there, so they can pick invoices, they can pick amounts. I think I would go with something like once they've gotten to that point, that a grid button would copy that the invoices and the amounts to a pending table, which then the form would and all of those pendings would have like an ID, and then the form would be handling that ID for a payment setup. Number one, total amount is $110. Once $110 was successfully processed, then you could go and take your pending transactions for that ID and push them to the final
Right.
spot, something like that.
Because I was thinking of that, but if we use the button where they select it like you did in your example, and then it shoots over that row of information into the action form. But I'm thinking, if they check it again, like for instance, I say, well, they go in there and they say, well, I don't want to pay this one. So even though I checked it, I want to uncheck it. So that means I need to add another button that says remove it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and to me, the place where I'm a little fuzzy is that if you've got 3 invoices and you're pushing it to a form, then what is the form just editing that one item, or is it editing?
Or it doesn't edit it. It's basically for me to know what it is. Because in the action form is basically where they provide their billing information and the credit card information.
Right.
And then then there's a button that submits it, and then the steps go through and the action where it authorized net processes it. And then after that, I would, run an insert into the databases to record what they paid and give them confirmation.
Since it's, I guess where I get a little confused is that if you're dealing with 3 invoices and you're trying to handle that at the form level, you're having to track a lot of stuff within the form. What invoices for how much?
Right.
Versus.
Hey, Jamie, good morning. This is Steve Morales. Is Mr. Aaron available?
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to. I'm thinking because in the action form, there's another one where they have dynamic forms, right? Is there a way to pull in like the individual items, and then they could just I could pull it into the action form, and they can quickly have the boxes for other amount and
yeah.
The dynamic
form.
And thanks for your email.
Could be used. It's just sounds like a complex way to do it.
The PDF of the schedule.
Since you've got grids and
we can set up a page.
I think going
that
more
would
like
have that
kind of a temporary
in large form,
be,
so people could easily see that, and
more straightforward.
we don't have to
okay.
copy and read.
I'm going to say hello to
content.
Craig. You've got a lot of background there.
So and we can get that done today.
Go on mute.
Good morning, Dale.
Hey.
Good morning.
Lunch.
Did you hear another person on a phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry. There's another person over here on the.
Oh, okay.
On
That's
the
what I
phone over
thought.
here.
Do I have another window
Yeah.
open? What
Yeah.
am I missing here?
No, my coworker here is on
welcome.
another line, and he's talking, and so if you're picking up what he's saying.
I'm just making sure I'm not crazy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not.
If you can go on mute for a minute, Albert, while that's going
Sure.
on, that'd probably be great. Hey, Craig, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Dale?
I'm all right.
I missed what Albert was talking about. I came in about 5 minutes late.
Well, and we were talking about, first of all, that I had my head someplace else, and we didn't get started till after 10, and there was still nobody here, so I was worried that I was going to be here on the campfire.
It's funny. Everybody's running 5 minutes late today.
Exactly. But no, we were kind of talking, Albert's got an ongoing issue, and we're just kind of talking architecture, how to solve that. We've been back and forth a little bit. I think this is a community forum thing, and Mark provided a pretty good answer, at least a start to one. But we were just talking about how to
Gotcha.
architect that to make it as easy as possible. There's, like anything else, there's easy ways to do it and easier, and then hard ways, and picking the right direction will keep you from going crazy.
Well, good luck with that. It's funny. I've rewritten my application 2 or 3 times just because there's better, more efficient ways to do something. And it's like, no, gosh, no. Going down the road, if we get to 100 clients, it's going to be easier if it's this way. Let me change it now when I only have 15, because you find different ways, or new things have been added to the product, and you don't have to use the workaround anymore, and you want to use that going forward. So yeah, it's definitely an ongoing tweak process.
One of the things that we kind of build into like the low code academy and talk about internally is that it's just so important to get the data structure right, because there's if you get that right, the amount of effort necessary down the line gets easier. If you have an odd or not well thought out data structure, that can sometimes bite you too.
Oh, 100%. And I am not, I just fell into this, and yeah, I'm learning on the go, and sometimes it's painful.
So what you've got going on today?
The biggest thing I'm working on is that dreaded SFTP.
Yes.
And it's funny, Mihai actually said, yep, you know what, it's in there. It's not going to be in 114 or 115. And I said, hey, can I pay for it? And he's like, well, no, because now they have more structure. I was like, you know what, I get it. Absolutely. There is a workaround with the Posh through the Power script shell. I've never used that before. I've been playing with it and still getting failures. So that's my issue.
Yeah, I saw that one, and I was that's kind of on my list if you haven't solved it, to try and find more a more definitive way. I mean, yeah, it's nice to be able to point you in the right direction, but it's even nicer to say, well, in this scenario, here's how it works.
I was even looking for that guy's information that posted, yeah, no, we got to work around, just to see if I could email him and say, hey, you know what, my name's Craig. I'm kind of doing the same thing you are. Can you provide me? Did you have to load the Posh SSS package? I tried to do that on the server and I got an error, so maybe I don't have to do that. There's just a lot of unknowns that I don't know.
On that ticket, does it let you reply to it, or is it?
No, it says it's closed and no can. So I went to all of the tickets that his name was on to see if I could reply to it.
And you were
I was sleuthing.
hard.
I went to LinkedIn to just scope his name. I Googled his name, just everything I could just to see if I could hunt him down.
Let me, that was, do you remember what your ticket is?
It was in this community forum.
Okay. I'm just thinking maybe I can open that.
Yeah, and maybe it would be real
so
easy. Yeah. The ticket number that you sent me was 66388. I don't know if that helps you.
Yep.
66388.
Yep. Phil here.
It's funny, I learned more about FTPS and SFTP and FTPS implicit versus explicit in the last 3 or 4 days that I cared to ever know. And they're all completely different.
So if you log this one won't let you add to the bottom of it.
Which one? 66388.
Yeah.
I am logged in. It says, warning, comments for this case are closed.
All right. Let's see if I can.
Because of my permission.
Can you give it a try now? Just refresh that page. And
Yep.
Yeah. So why don't it? I mean, you can ask him, or I can ask him, but.
Yep, it still says it's closed.
Okay. Let's. I'll just jump in on this one.
Oh, if you don't mind, that would be great to see if he had just take 5 seconds to, here's the code that I used. And I don't know, because everything I've read, you have to install the Posh SSH, but I tried to do that, but then I've run some commands that I found on the internet and, was able to get close, but now the latest one says, the term new SFTP session is not recognized. So I don't know if something's not installed and stuff.
All right. And
Perfect.
Phil's a great guy. Maybe he'll see that and be able to help us out. In the meantime, we'll. And that just surprises me that it shows locked out. I thought that it would allow that.
Yeah, just refresh it again and went out and came back in. It says down at the bottom, warning comments for this case are disabled.
Okay, great.
Cool.
So hopefully we'll find something there, and it'll when it comes back. I think if I see it, I'll make sure to post it out.
Okay, cool. No, appreciate that. Yeah. That was just, it's funny when a client changes their stuff and it's not supported in the product and they're like, okay, now, what's it going to cost to do? And it's like, shit, it could be a year before it's implemented. So, is there a hack or a workaround? So that's my biggest thing is when the client changes something that was already done and now there's a new thing that we have to do, whatever that new thing is. In this case, it's the SFTP. And it's like, okay, you know what? Set the expectation with them. Don't change it yet because it's not supported.
Yep. So let's see. I have, of course, I was out last week, so up until today, it's been about catching up a little bit with old tickets and the community forum. There's a lot that goes on in a week's time.
Oh yes. And
but
it's just you.
One of the things that I was going to hit on was we've had some questions about Too Sexy, and also I was just going to chat some about Search Boost. But I'm open to any topics that if you've got anything else that you want to bring in. And Albert, it looks like it's the three of us today. And,
yeah, I've seen Too Sexy, know what it is, but never used it. Is there any advantages that offers that Plant an App does not, or is it just another way to do?
Well, I get it. I mean, I think that in many ways they're not really competing products; they're complementary products.
Okay.
I was playing with it some yesterday afternoon, and I could sure bring it up. But what I'm seeing is that it's easier to lay out content, especially content that's the forms and grids and whatever that we provide are great, and you can lay them out in a great number of ways. But then there's all the other stuff that goes on the website, all the pretty with pictures and layouts. And so, if you're using pure .NET Nuke and you've got an HTML element, you can that's one way to get text onto the screen. Too Sexy lets you put content onto the screen and lay it out. Is there a picture next to it? Is it? I mean, it's very dynamic. There's modules too that are data modules, and that's really why I ended up getting into it, to try to figure out
How
the Search Boost question.
Right.
Albert, have you used either of these?
No, I've tried the Too Sexy, just this, like you, I just tried to see what it was about, what it could do. And my understanding was that it made it easier for, developers or people to create templates so that end users don't struggle with having to structure things or any kind of HTML, and so that you form it the way you want it to be viewed, and all they do is input the data. It's just like a form that they fill out, and title goes here, content here, picture there, and then they save it, and then it gets, it goes in a nice little format.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was looking for my window for that.
So they don't have to deal with that with the HTML editor, where they put in text, and they have to add any kind of CSS if they want it to float to the right, a picture or things like that. So it eliminates all that frustration for the end user that doesn't want to do anything but just enter the data, and that's it.
Or yeah, and enter the you might be able to use what you see is what you get editor to format your text a little bit, but the fancy layout has been built into the template.
Right.
And, yeah, it looks very powerful. The thing that I was exploring about is the way it relates to Search Boost, in that some content, they have a block called a content block, which is essentially like an HTML block, or in .NET Nuke's HTML module, theirs is called content. I'm putting an asterisk here. I just started yesterday, so I could be completely off base. But what I'm finding is when you put things in a content block, it's picked up by our search engine. When you use some of the other type of content, and I know of only one, there's an employee directory module that they've provided. When you put in stuff, for example, in an employee module, that's not picked up by our search. And so trying to figure out if we can search it and how was kind of the mystery that I was working on. But I mean, it looks like a great product, a very complementary product to what we have, because there's and we kind of got into this discussion in Campfire a couple of weeks ago, is there's all this stuff that Plant App, all these back-end screens that Plant App generates, and then at some point you move on to putting on a front end to it, and maybe the core things that get generated aren't what you're going to present to your clients. So how do you provide a nice format? And Too Sexy looks like a nice tool to have in your pocket for being able to easily provide good content, good visuals to your front end, and then you still, you're going to have the data parts that need to happen, forms and grids and things like that.
Is that more static, Dale, or dynamic? What I'm trying to do, the big project I'm working on now is that online application that we worked on before, the other things, but now doing the UI of that. So it's kind of a TurboTax-esque of put in your name, and then, dynamic comes up to the next question, JavaScript. Tell me your social, tell me your date of birth, and if they answer a certain way, then populate more questions. So I'm going through and using, obviously, action form. I'm pretty good with that to do that. And now playing around with that I've never done before is the template where you could use your own at the top of action form, where you can put your own code. I forgot what it's called. I don't know why I'm blanking. But using that, and then using the fields below, and still using the underlying capabilities of action form, but just putting in a prettier way by doing my own front end template. I've been working on that. Seems like it's going pretty well. Would this kind of do the same thing, or would you recommend kind of just staying the path I'm going?
Well, first of all, let me drop a action form on here so that we can look at the kind of things that you're talking about, and then work from there. So if we got an action form, and are you talking about using, let me get a blank form going. Are you talking about using things here in the general settings, like this left and right?
Keep going. Oh, the manual layout. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. The manual layout.
Yep.
Near the top. Yep. So when I use that, I'm using this. So I create all of my fields and my buttons down below as normal. Then I come up here, and then I put in my HTML that I'm utilizing. And it seems like it is working. I have to use multiple action forms because it's, just one page. I haven't got into the hiding and showing yet, and maybe I'll try to do that. It could be I can just use one, but don't know yet because I'm playing around.
Yep. So if the results, if the HTML and the formatting that you're trying to accomplish needs to happen in and around the fields that you're talking about, then you may be in the best place. But so are you familiar with the HTML tool that .NET Nuke provides?
I am, yes.
Okay.
But
So,
what I haven't been able to is link up fields in that module to an action form field. So if I collect first name in the HTML module and I want to run certain things on it with action form, I haven't been able to do that.
yeah, outside, I mean, the action, you can display fields that are in the context. You can display those within an HTML block, but you're not going to get them to interact and be
Got
able
it.
to input and push
So my
buttons.
best place is the manual, it sounds like, to do that.
I think so.
Fair enough.
But real quick on too sexy. This is like a content I dropped from here. There's a content thing, content module. That's what I've. Whoops, I'm get off of this. That's what I've dropped here, and too sexy, for example, lets you see. Like right now, I have a layout. If I have a view where the picture appears to the right of the text. If I pick a different layout, it's picture above the text and much bigger, or no picture, or a different layout entirely. So it lets you pick a lot of things that are, for this static type content. It lets you get there really quickly without having to fight the formatting. So that and then those templates I think are extensible. Then there's a lot of other cool tools like this heat map. So I've got this picture here, and click it, and it has a picture connected to it, and here it's got a different thing connected to it. So it really, it's got a lot of very neat tools.
Interesting.
But this one, if I search for brown, the search is going to find it, right? But if I go to, I have another of their tools available. Daniel Metler is their guy. But I've set up an employee directory using their tool, and like I have a content that has the word beard in it. If I search for that, it doesn't come up because our tool doesn't know how to search through that directory. So that's kind of where I was trying to figure out how to use this, how to help people use this other tool, use our tool in conjunction with theirs.
It sounds like you probably have to create like a custom rule where it indexes that table or something that it's housed in.
I think so. That might be the case because there's, but trying to, I just started down the path of finding what table that stuff exists in, and then there's okay, now you have to understand their relationships so that you can understand. Now I found the content and I've indexed the content, but how do you get to the link? How do you build the page that that has that? So, and then ideally it'd be, best case scenario is that we totally understand how to index that content without a lot of extra effort, but that might be not reality. So anyway, and then beyond that, just talking about Search Boost in general. When I came on, Search Boost is a little bit of a complex product, and I hadn't had any exposure to it when I started with Plankton App. So a lot of the questions that came in on that topic were pushed to the resident Search Boost expert, Manu, and now I'm trying not to just hand those off anymore. So as the Search Boost questions come in, so I'm getting an appreciation for what that product will do. Are either of you using Search Boost in your implementations?
Yeah, I have it on a couple of websites. We use it quite a bit. Yeah. And
I don't use it at all.
It's been very helpful.
I've just, as I dig into it, I find it's an amazingly powerful product, and being able to what it does out of the box, and then you start needing various customizations. I need extra content, or I want to index these other things that aren't automatically brought in. So adding in rules or alternate behaviors, it's really quite amazing.
Yeah, a lot of our clients, they seem to like it because, well, the default search doesn't search PDFs. And so a lot of our clients have a lot of PDFs on their website, and they want to be able to, anybody to be able to search them. So Search Boost does a great job of doing that.
Yep. And then I see people who comment that, asking questions about, well, I'm getting the search, the PDFs are getting searched, but the wording isn't really what I'd like. It's not pulling the content that I'd like to see into the search description, and that you can provide additional XML to provide control over that. So like a meta file that gets put there next to the PDF, so that it knows kind of what to do with it. Maybe additional search terms that aren't even in the PDF that end up being important for the search. So just so much that can be done with that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. What else is going on?
When's give me your political answer on the Bootstrap 4. It's funny, Reza never shares the timeline anymore. Before, he used to share 1.4 coming out here, and here's all the stuff in it. It's 1.5 or 1.15, this, that. He's not doing that anymore. So I'm just curious, it would be nice to see that, either once a month. I get it as a project leader. But for us out there going, when's multi-portal, when's Bootstrap for, the big ones that we truly need.
I'm making some notes as you talk here. I suspect, okay, so 1.14 is closing out, and they're trying to figure out what they can fit into 1.15. And
yeah, the old ones, Bootstrap 4 was in 1.15. Whether it got pushed or whatever, don't know, because I haven't seen, what's slated in a month. Well,
so as he begins to, I don't know where he is in figuring out what goes into it. I just know that all I've heard is that it's overloaded, and just a behind the scenes look. We are the plan is that we're going to meet every other week, the leadership, to try to advocate for what we need to put into the next release, because there's this balance between what the big picture of where we want to go with the product, and all the way down to, well, this little feature way out here is annoying one customer. What do we do about it? There's this complete continuum, and so we're trying to it just ends up being a prioritization. So there's a discussion that'll happen, and I will pass on to Reza that you're interested in those. You mentioned those two particular things. So
yeah, well, I know I'm not the only one. So
you're not.
Those are huge. Yeah, the SFTP. Yeah, I'm probably the only one. I get that. Totally get that. But yeah, these other major ones. My business is built on multi-portals. So to move all of my sites over, I can't do that yet. So I'm doing both now. So I have Plant an app on one, and then the other ones I have on the old stuff. But before I can move it over, the multi-portal was huge for me. Yep. And that's the backbone of DNN. That's why I went with DNN to start with.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's one.
And I just wanted to kind of back you up what you said about SFTP. I don't want to minimize that. It's not just you, but part of what weighs in on the discussion is there a workaround available? And that's why I want to work with you.
Totally get that. Yeah. Oh no, and I did not take it that way. That's for sure. You guys do everything, do a lot. So yeah, but these one-offs, no, I totally get that satisfy one or two, or to your point, the masses. No, I'm totally. My thing was transparency as much as possible. I get it. But I loved what Reza did at the beginning. He showed, all right, here's one what's slated for 114. It's slated for mid 2021, January or July, August timeframe, and 115. Here's what we have already in there, and it's slated for end of the year. So at least I have an idea. But he hasn't shared that in the last 5 or 6 Wednesdays.
And I think what happens is that that the focus has been on getting 114 out. The other, but I will bring it up. We kind of
no, absolutely.
From our perspective, we do a thing where we say, okay, Reza, are you doing a light update on product or a heavy update? We try to manage making sure that there's a focus on good content in the low code camp.
100%. Agree.
So, but I agree. I think it's been a while since he's talked about that. So as soon as, from my perspective, as soon as we decide what is definitely going to be in 115, we should start talking about that. And so it's probably time for a heavy discussion on product. And
agree. Perfect. Yeah. And that it's just, to do all the things that you guys are doing and to manage, I get it. Totally get it. You've got, thousands of us out there going, we want this.
Yeah. Well, and I am excited about the things that are coming out and some of the direction that it'll be good to get this next release out. And as Reza says, it's, everyone is better than the last. I wouldn't hold back. As soon as you can test it and move forward, I think 114 will be good.
Perfect.
So we're looking forward to getting that rolled out. I don't know if you're seeing the announcements from us, but internally we're upgrading our sites early in the week, next week. It's part of the process. We've tried it a couple times and run into some issues and having to go back. So we're trying to make sure that we do those things without impacting you.
Yeah, no, I know that's hard. Everybody. Yep. 100%.
All right. All right. This is where I pull up the I'm going to start singing slide. There's got to be something more that's going on with you guys.
Like I said, that it's funny when I get focused on one thing for the last couple of days. It's just been that the SFTP, but now everything else is for me going good.
Yeah, actually, we have a couple of the team members from Dana and Sharp working on a project for us right now. With Elena and Alex. So they seem to be very busy with juggling several different projects.
Yep.
So yeah, and that was the thing. This project that I'm working on, we were hoping to have them work on this one as well, but they were just too overloaded. So I, kind of took on the task to try to get it done. But Elena said, they said, if I needed any help, they'd be, happy to kind of jump in and point me in the right direction or help me, where I get into a little struggle or something. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And I absolutely understand that. I'm fighting the same thing. Part of what my bigger picture is to find and help guide to a better support solution. And we have a variety of ways to, as you know, there's the community forum and the console and DNN Sharp, and people send us emails, and it's there's a great number of ways to communicate with us, and I'm trying to consolidate that. and it's going to require some development time. And that's kind of the same answer I'm getting, that luckily we've got some good projects going on. And so that pushes us. I think I'm a little bit on my own, so I get to use my developer skills a little bit for the next few weeks until folks surface for availability to help move some of these things along.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's good, John, because I know, like I said, sometimes we come up with the projects and it's, a little bit more than I can tackle. And I always kind of rely on them. So, so it's always nice to have them available, but I know that now they've taken on Planet App, it seems like they've, and they've got other projects going. They seem to be, their plates are full, and so they don't have a lot of time to take on a new project or something.
I know Don Gingold said essentially the same thing when on a campfire not that long ago. That I think his talking about the like to be able to partner up with some people who have skills, whether it's, I know that we're working to come up with a partner. Well, we have a partner program, but to build it out and to make people more available, I'd love to see some of those people participate in things like this, because it might make a place where people can connect and sure there's people that want the work and you need the work get done. So finding connecting quality people.
Yeah, that's just like with the SFTP thing. When Mihai responded back and said, just look at this ticket. Before they would say, if you want us to help you with this workaround, it'll be, $500, whatever that cost is. They don't even offer that anymore. So then you got to go back to them and say, I'm willing to pay for it. Will you help me with this? And then, 3 days later, you get a response back. So it's like, okay, they can't handle this added business. So I would recommend kind of a professional services, thing to help out with, things like Albert was talking about and things that, we need help with. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. We're definitely willing. We're more
We're willing to pay.
Yeah.
If I could clone myself, shit, I'd make a lot of money.
Yep.
So would you, Dale?
Yeah, I've been there too. So Mark, who often participates in this, submitted a question in advance, and then he evidently wasn't able to show up to hear the answer. But I was thinking I might take it on anyway. Talking about hidden field custom value, and he does quite a bit, I think he's trying to interact with it with JavaScript. I was really trying to nail down exactly what the scenario was, but I've kind of bumped into this too, and I'm not sure that I know the answer, and it's one of those things I haven't dug into yet. But he seemed to indicate that hidden field custom value has a different has some different characteristics than if it's a text box. Have either of you fooled around in this area?
Yeah, I get that a lot. There are some fields when I'm just posting to a database, the hidden field will work. But it just started working, I don't know, whatever, 6 months ago when the new checkbox at the top, submit hidden fields, because before that, the hidden fields would not be submitted to the database, but now that works. But no, I have to, on some of my fields, I have to do a text box and then hide it with, the display none like he's doing for it to actually work. And I want to say it's usually when I'm doing, some JavaScript or something outside of a SQL.
Okay. Well, so if nothing else, I've learned that it's not just him, and so we should come up with a scenario and play with it so that.
And I can go through my thing and look and see, what am I doing, just to give you an example of it, and what I'm trying to do, and the reason, or not the reason why it won't work, but that's here's an example of when it doesn't work.
Yeah, that understanding that circumstance and maybe we'll start to see a pattern emerge on what that is. So if you happen to have a minute and can do that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
All right. All right. Well, there's no law that says we have to go up to the hour. If I don't want to rush you, but if there's nothing else, we can close it off here.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
I'm good. Yeah,
that sounds good.
absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want to keep you.
And actually, just I mean, let me end it with this: a question. You know, are you seeing value from attending Campfire? Are you seeing value from attending Low Code Cafe? And really, what more can we want to invest back and you know, provide what you need? So just trying to get a sense of if we're in the right direction here.
Yeah, I think, well, for me, I think it is. I think it helps establish a little more rapport with amongst the community. I know there's not a lot of us here right now, but when there's a few more, it seems like there's a little more, I guess, less hesitancy to open up and talk to others. You know, for me, it was always, I kind of felt like I was on my own out there, except for when I submit stuff to the customer support and then I talk to Mihai or, you know, those. But now that you know, with these, I get more familiar with who people are, and you're a little more apt to, you know, express whatever problems you're having, so you can, you know, get through issues and things like that. And it seems like they're very open to helping out. So that in that case, it's been helpful. Yeah.
Oh, well, good. I know I've been pleased to see what goes on in the community forum. Most of that is helpful. You know, people trying to be helpful, and in the same way, this being a little back and forth, I agree. I've been having a great time meeting you guys, so this is really good.
Yeah, the extension of the forum is great because you see the same 5, 8 guys and gals on there. You know, they're responding back, the ones that have been using it forever. But then, like Albert said with the roof, you know, I could now, you know, hopefully, you know, tag Albert somewhere and say, hey, I had this question. I know you were working on that. I remember something in a Campfire. You know, can you point me in the right direction? Right. So it gives you that sense of community, if you will. That it's just right now, it's just me and the company, and you know, I do everything from sales all the way down to support. So it's a tough thing, and I don't have usually a lot of time to you know, chase stuff around. But if you can get in the right direction, hey, yeah, did you try this? Well, crap, no, thank you.
Yeah, I love it when it's just one of those where we can just point in the right direction. Well, good. Well, I appreciate your spending your time with us, and I'm glad we're adding some value. So very good. We will perhaps see you next week, one of these 2 events.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Dale.
Have a good weekend, guys. Nice talking with you, Albert.
Yes, likewise, Greg. Have a good weekend, everybody.
See you guys.